Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah, Jeff brought this one for us.
Ooh, nice.
What a nice.
I haven't had Pliny in quite a while.
Yeah, it's been
know that I have.
it's been years since I've had Pliny. I think
I did have a younger about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that was really good.
Yeah,
been
Elder,
even longer since
Younger,
I've been younger.
and Owl, I think, was the single.
I didn't know that one, but yeah, someone brought back one of the little cases of 2 bottles of Pliny the Younger.
And I actually remember I liked Elder better than Younger. Younger rates higher.
It's because it's scarce.
Well, the older's
Yeah.
more experienced.
they don't typically distribute. Well, they don't distribute Younger in outside of like the brewery.
Yeah.
Well, I had it in Denver. When I was out there, they had it on tap.
That doesn't surprise me though. It's Denver. They have everything in Denver. It's
Yeah.
the happiest city in the fucking world.
We're going
I
next
thought
year,
that was
right?
Amsterdam.
I'm going this year, but we are definitely going
Yeah, I
next
can't
year.
make it this year.
Oh, for
Yeah.
Great American Beer Fest?
Yeah.
Yep. This will be my third one. I've been there 2 times before. We went the 2 years before COVID, and then my partner didn't want to go. My drinking partner, and now he's kind of not really so much in the beer scene anymore. So this year I'm going with some new guys that have never been to GABF before. 2 out of 3 of them have been to Denver before. We've been there like 10 times. And like they call Grand Rapids Beer City, USA, and they're fucking lying.
No.
I say it every time. Like it's Colorado, like just Denver and all the suburbs and all the cities. It's just there's so many breweries. It's stupid.
Well, Denver's a crazy scene for sure.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
The
No,
food's good too.
the only time I've been to GABF was when I don't know, do we want to start before we
Oh, he's
He's already
yeah,
recording.
he hits the button.
thought
and
about
it's
it?
just-
But
I'll mix this into
mixes
some
in.
He's
form.
always recording.
The only GABF I went to, I poured for Kunin Brewing Company, and it was a drunken madhouse.
Oh yeah,
Like between just the like other parties for the brewers and all of the outside parties, and like the sessions were not the thing that I thought were all that interesting, because there was a million people waiting in a million lines to try a million
yep.
things.
The city's electric that weekend.
But it's everything else around it.
Yep,
Like you could just go to Denver around that time and have the best time. On the
absolutely. Yeah, the day we flew in for our first one, we just got our rental car, stopped at the closest breakfast spot, and ate breakfast until it was like most breweries open at like 11 a.m. And so it's like 10:30. We're paying for our food, and we're looking at our phones like, okay, what's the closest brewery? Like we're gonna finish breakfast and we'll go to the closest brewery. And it was Cerebral. Like, if you've been to
I've
Cerebral,
been there.
yeah,
Yes.
they do a lot of like
Unique.
like interesting, unique, experimental beers, and it was my first time ever having a. This is quite a style. A lactose sour IPA. Oof. They had they're called their Birds of Paradise series, and they had one with boysenberry and one with raspberry. And
Sounds like heartburn.
That sounds like
anytime I drink sours, that's going to happen anyway. But like it was the best sour I've ever had, because it wasn't too sour, just a little bit of like lactose sour. But like I'm not a really big IPA guy. Like I like IPAs, they're fine, but it's not my go-to. And so I'm thinking like, okay, this is a lot of things that I normally wouldn't have. But we walked over there, and like it was just before they opened, and there's a bunch of people standing outside because it's GABF weekend. And I was part of all the groups and everything, and following the stories people were telling, and it didn't click until I was like, see all the people, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm like, this is Cerebral. Like people actually like they want to come to this place. It's like they want to come here and they want to go to Weldworks. Like those are like the two everyone's like super fucking horny about. And so we walked in, and there was 2 different lines, one to the right to buy bottles and cans, and the other to the left to get pours of beer. And so we immediately went into the cans and bottles line. Before we even tried anything, we spent like $200 on cans and bottles. And then we tried all the things that we bought, and we're
Nice.
like, our decision was very validated. We're like, we're super glad we bought the stuff before it sold out.
Yeah.
Because that line was forming super quick, and we're like, well, let's just YOLO it. Let's just buy a bunch of shit, and if it's bad, it's bad. But it
So
was
talk
not.
about West Coast and IPAs.
Ah, yes, the glasses are empty. Well,
So before we get into that, let's do the intro. Wait, don't turn the channel. You've tuned into High Gravity.
the show where we talk about beer, brewing, and bullshit.
Where the only thing we take seriously is the next round.
So grab a glass.
Fill it with something cold.
And enjoy the show.
Bill is back.
And we got to welcome Mr. Bill back. So thank you for joining us again,
Welcome
Mr.
back.
Bill.
I wish I had something in the
To help out.
there. No.
At any point, just let it rip if you do.
Well, we have a little bit of a special bottle today. I mean, really everything we
Thank you,
is
Jeff.
kind of special. Yes, once again, Jeff coming
Yes, thank you,
through.
Mr. Jeff.
Depends on your definition of special.
That's true. You know, things that most people aren't going to have in Michigan. Most people aren't going to go to the store and have the delicious beverages that you've provided us or Pliny the Elder. So nobody around here is drinking Pliny the Elder that I know of, but we are today. Pliny the Elder from Russian River. It's very well known for anyone who's versed in the beer scene. It's been, for me, I remember it was like the first IPA that I ever had that I was like, oh, this doesn't suck. It doesn't just taste like pine nothing. It tastes like pine everything.
I remember it being very piney.
Pliny and piney. But let's see here. This is going to be hard for me to read because like the description or like the words are
Need some glasses?
it's in a square. I think it's 4 different things to read. We'll start with this one. If you must, sit on eggs, not on Pliny. Do
what?
not save for a rainy day. Pliny is for savoring, not for saving. Consume Pliny fresh or not at all. Let's see, there's more.
Sometimes I think that he just makes the shit up.
I know, me too.
I wish I was that creative. Let's see. Does not improve with age. Hoppy beers are not meant to be aged. Keep away from heat. Respect your elder. Keep cold. Drink fresh. Do not age. Wow, they are really about don't age this shit. Not a barley wine style ale. Do not age. Oh my God. All right, so here's the actual description.
I'll tell you we should drink it.
I can't wait. Pliny the Elder was a Roman naturalist, scholar, historian, and author. In his writings, he refers to lupus salicatarius, meaning wolf among scrubs. I don't want no scrubs.
It's Latin, by the way.
Thanks, Daryl.
You're welcome.
Likely an early reference to hop vines growing wild among willows, Pliny the Elder died in 79 AD while saving people during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. He was immortalized by his nephew and adopted son, Pliny the Younger. Pliny the Elder. The beer is full-bodied, hop-forward double IPA. Keep refrigerated and consume fresh to best enjoy this beer's intense hop character.
So then Younger is the triple?
Maybe.
Or is it?
Sir.
It's not a single.
Ooh,
You have the...
ring thing.
Yep.
nice.
That sounds sexy. Well, you open it. You get to pour first. Yeah.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. Don't. You take the first
It's
pour
a little
right.
bit bigger of a bottle. So
It is. I'm excited. Ooh, that's it. It's right out of the bottle. It smells like pine tree and bo.
It's resiny.
What a description.
And I mean, in the best way possible, right? Like, I remember I was at Vivant one time out west, and they were doing their collab series with the brewery.
Michigan West.
Yeah, Michigan West, yes. And Brewery Vivant's absolutely my favorite brewery in the state, except StarCraft, of course.
Smells like cat piss.
And they had an apricot sour, and I described it as it smells like vomit in the best way possible. And
Butyric acid.
yeah, it was good.
Whoa.
Yeah, on the glass, it's way more like you said, like cat pissy and resiny. Like, the bottle you get like straight up pine and bo.
So I'm with you in the fact that I like IPAs. I'm not a go-to IPA.
Yep.
And I never understood the allure to go bottle, go buy bottles on the secondary market of IPAs and things like that. But this is pretty good. But I don't know that I like this any better than, say, Two Hearted.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I had about a can of that last night, and I think I like this better than that. But that's a good go-to. And if I had to drink one on the daily, I think I'd go with that one.
And
over this.
in rate beer and things like that, this overtook. Two Hearted overtook this 2 or 3 years ago, and it stayed on the top.
Huh.
But it, this, for some reason, I don't see why this is so scarce. It should be
Yeah.
their go-to, but I think they artificially must make it scarce.
I think too, though, when
and they only distribute to a very few.
Pliny the Elder was coming on the scene, like the market wasn't as saturated with IPAs. You know, like when I remember drinking this, like there were IPAs out there, but like we don't have the brewery scene that we had back then. I mean, this was 10 plus years ago.
Yeah, this is very piney. It's light. There's not a lot of body to it at all.
The more I drink it and kind of let it be, I do get more piney than cat piss. So that's a pleasant change.
I like it a lot. I think it's a very straightforward IPA. Like if you were drinking this, you'd be like, oh, IPA.
I would want this ice cold though.
That's what it says on the bottle, like 600 times.
Yeah.
It just came out of the cooler.
Huh.
So
It seems like it should be
40
colder
degrees.
for optimal enjoyment, but
Yeah, this was
it's
bottled
still good.
on
I still like it.
416. So it is
Pretty new.
fresh enough. Yeah, they don't actually list the ABV on the bottle. Or maybe they do. There it is. 8%. Okay. Now they call it a double. And
for an IPA, though.
Yeah. And
I think it's a little thin for a double.
yeah,
agree
normally
with that.
a double or a triple, I'm expecting like that kind of more syrupy kind of body to
Thicker
it.
body,
Yeah. But again, is not a go-to style of mine. Double and triple IPAs fall even further down the list than just a regular IPA. But as far as doubles go, I can't think of a double I would compare it to that I would be like, oh, I'd rather drink that. I'd rather drink this than any other double IPA I can think of.
I will say that this is better than the Double Hearted.
I do not like Double Hearted at all.
I have
Not
not had
Double
that.
Hearted at all.
Nope. A lot of
not
people,
tried that.
I know are like, how do you not like it? It's so much better. And I'm like, how? Like it's like Two Hearted to me is already kind of a little bit sweet, and the double to me was it was way too sweet.
I haven't tried that yet. I'll have to find that.
There is a double I would drink before this one. The 1.21 gigahops.
No,
At StarCraft Brewery.
And what's the address again?
Everyone already knows that. We said it every time.
But we have new
it is.
listener.
It is also a good. That is also a good double IPA. I first got to drink that at my bachelor party
That
where I
was
wasn't supposed to get drunk. And Daryl got me very drunk.
And I have to say that is a great name.
It's
It's good.
1.21 gigahops.
It's one of my go-tos. It's still no SOB, but it's still good.
So this is good, but it's just simple flavor.
It's very basic.
Yeah,
There's not a lot to it.
it tastes like two-row, maybe a touch of caramel, and then bunch of hops.
It's almost like a smash,
Yeah,
the way it is.
very much. It
does
remind. Not a lot of.
It does
malt
remind me of
character.
Two Hearted in that same vein, where it doesn't taste like they've got like 6 hops in it and 15 grains. Very straightforward.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This tastes a little Chinook. I'm not sure exactly what hops it is. But
Well, it's weird. It smells like Galaxy, but it has no taste of Galaxy at all.
no. And
But it
like
has a
you
smell
said
to
cat
it.
pissy, and I was like, is it going to be Simcoe?
I'm not ever
And I'm like,
fine enough to notice.
and
the
it's not
different hops.
Simcoe in any way.
No.
Galaxy's very, very noticeable. Like
it has the
flavor
smell of
wise,
it.
yeah.
But I don't taste it.
Like the flavor is much more like Galaxy's much more like pineapple and stone fruit and like tropical
Pomegranate.
fruits.
One thing I don't have a whole
Strong.
lot of knowledge on is the difference in hops. I know they do different things.
Galaxy's my favorite
But
hop.
There's so
that's
many
why I
hops,
know.
though.
Oh yeah,
And so many crossbreeds, and who knows?
yeah. I've never been able to pick them out like that though.
I think one of my favorites lately, especially for like tropical stout type things, is Sabro. I've been loving that hop.
I haven't used that one
So
yet.
good. It's just tropically and wonderful, and just has crazy depth of flavor.
Nice. Go for it. Touch more.
Yep, you can have the last of the bottle.
Okay.
You know what, though? I'm not going out of my way to get this again. Last time I had it was 6 years, and I remember it being good. Just not out of my way to get.
I like it a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't like fly out of the
Denver to
state
get
to
it.
get it. Yeah,
don't know if
but
I
like
have
if somehow a brewery or like a tap house has it on tap, like I would drink this. I could drink this all day. Like this is to me like this. I would drink this ice cold out on the boat all day and get in all kinds of fucking trouble.
I reiterate the fact that it's good, but I'm not going out of my mind for it in any way.
Yeah, I think
have had this.
it's just a nice clean drinking IPA.
This was the double.
No, it's Pliny the Elder.
Oh,
Pliny
but
the
it's
Elder's
considered a double IPA.
No.
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, hey, I'm no complaints here.
Yeah, it's still good. I've had far worse.
I'd rather drink it over like an all-day IPA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And nothing wrong with an all-day IPA either.
No, I was going to say, not to say I don't like that. That one's still good.
Nope. Despite our, shit talk of KBS last episode, their founder still has some pretty decent beers.
Oh, yeah.
Not going to complain. I tried that Immortal Bloom or Mortal Bloom. It's not really a big kind of like juicy NEPA kind of guy. Like that flame burned hot and fast for me. Like the M43 days, everyone got super hype about that. And, was it Round Earth and Green Barn or whatever the fuck they had. They had like 4 different variants of it. And there's a couple months there where I was like, this is great. And then that style just burned out on me. Like I haven't ordered a NEPA since.
So it's weird. I've been to quite a few beer festivals in Europe, and when I started brewing, everything I brewed was like trying to make all these European beers and try to make, the best Belgian triple or the best German lagers or whatever, right? Emulating all these breweries. I go to these festivals and they are 90% New England IPAs.
American styles.
Yep. It is New England IPAs. It is pastry sours. It is pastry
sour. That'd be good.
Pastry stouts.
What is that?
Pastry sours. They're basically like if you take and make a lacto like a kettle sour and then put in all of the fruit. Right? And so you don't get any real sour to it other than like it balances the sweet. But then it's just this like sweet sugar bomb with a little bit of sour to balance
Interesting.
it.
I can see like a pastry cherry sour being really good, like that sour cherry like pie.
Yeah, I mean they're good, but you can only drink so many of them.
Right.
But,
my guts don't agree with sours. Yeah.
I'm in freaking. I was in Belgium one. I was in one in Poland and one in Sweden, and all of them, I'd say 90% of the stuff was all like American style versions of styles. These like big pastry stouts that are like super sweet and as thick as motor oil, and things like that. And I'm like, this is crazy because I'm thinking we're going to these European breweries and I'm gonna get like really great versions of these European styles, and you get almost nothing.
That's a bummer.
Like 12 or 13 years ago when I went to my first like local beer festival, it was Ashley's. I can't remember his name of the bar, but they have a big tap room. But they did they did the Belgian Beer Festival every year, and that was the first time I remember tasting IPAs that I enjoyed, because the Belgians, at least the Belgian IPAs they had there, tended to focus more on like the late edition hops, focusing more on like the aroma and the flavor and less on the bitter. And at that time, like IPAs were just like everyone was like fighting the war to see how bitter they could make a beer. And not only did I fall in love with Belgians, but like it made me realize that like, hey, I can make IPAs that don't suck. So I'd started making. That's really got me into brewing, was everyone wanted these bitter IPAs, and I wanted the hop characteristics outside of the bitterness. And I'm still in love with Belgian beers. Like Belgian beer is kind of like one of my go-to favorite styles.
That's where my heart is.
Same.
Belgian beers.
Belgian triples are my favorites.
Oh, like a Belgian wheat is my go-to. Like when I brew something that I want to just smash, it's usually like a Belgian wheat, and I'll fuck it up with some Mosaics and Galaxy hops, and it's just like a Belgian pale wheat, and that's like my summer smasher. But I want to hear more about the European beer festivals, the Belgian one obviously specifically, but like tell us more about like the European beer festivals.
So the Belgian one was pretty small there, but again, it was like 20 or so breweries and meaderies, because all these I followed. Bee Nectar. I'm good friends with the owner of Bee Nectar, and I go on trips with him all the time. So he takes my wife and I to all these places with him to go pour for him. And so I'm like, heck yeah! Basically, I get like cheap rooms and access to this festival. All I got to do is pay for my food and a flight, and I'm like,
hell yeah,
right? So it's great, and so I, whenever they're going, I'm like, he's like, you want to go to going to go to Poland. I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go to Poland. So we go.
How do you get in with this guy?
And so we, we go and the last one was Poland earlier this year, and we went with it was me, my wife, his son, and Brad, and we and his son is like 16. So he really didn't know anything about beer.
No, but in Poland you can drink.
No, you can't.
Oh, not in
till
Poland?
you're 18.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's not like a lot of other European countries. Like, you can see over the bar, give this man a beer.
Yeah. But he was able to serve. He was not able to drink.
Okay, yeah.
Not that he didn't sneak some things on the side.
Well,
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Can't be tried for it. He's in Poland.
And but yeah, these are pretty big festivals. There's usually, let's say between 50 and 100 breweries, kind of thing. And but the fun part about there is, like here you get things, brewery, these beer festivals, and you might get stuff that's, around the country. There you have brewers from all over the world.
That's cool.
There was probably 6 U.S. breweries. The rest of them were from every other European country you can think of, including and also thinking like Japan and Taiwan and all kinds of these breweries. And all of them were brewing American versions of everything. It was like I could have been at any beer fest here, drinking a million, 7 adjunct, IPAs.
Yep. Well,
It's actually kind of disappointing, though.
Well, I remember how many years ago it was the Europeans talking shit about, the American markets. Oh, American beer's like having sex in a canoe. It's fucking close to water. And then, like, we have this revolution and, we're not so uptight about, like, what we're throwing in our beer. And all of a sudden we become, like, the world beer leader. Everyone's like, oh, well, American beer is good. So, I mean, we followed the trend from them. Yeah, most descendants are fucking Europeans anyway, so they bring their traditions with them. But yeah, it's interesting that that kind of pendulum has swung the other way, where like
everyone's emulating us.
Exactly, we were emulating the European styles for 200 fucking years. Let's be honest. And they talked all the shit, and now it's back the other way, where it's like, oh, the Americans, huh? Okay, yeah.
Well, that breweries make America great again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I mean I would still obviously be interested to go and experiment with it, but it is a little disheartening to hear that it's like, our glasses are empty, Daryl. It is a little disheartening though at the same time.
All right,
stories are great, but come on,
let's try the Zambian mead.
All right,
I'm excited.
This is making me nervous that it's going to fall over. So this tiny little skinny mead bottle keeps wobbling on the table, and I'm going to put it in the cup
all right.
holder.
So Zambian mead, tell us about it.
So Zambian mead is this is a homebrew of mine, and it is made with the honey from the Zambian forest. So technically, it's a wildflower because there's no single varietal, but it's weird because it's literally just wild in the middle of the forest in Zambia. So this honey is very different from a lot of other honeys. It's going to be a little leathery, little like funky, kind of like Brett characters.
I like
kind of
funk.
thing.
Yes, when he said funk, it's the aroma has that almost kind of like a touch of apple cider vinegar, like kind of funk to it.
And tobacco is another character I get a lot from people. Now this one is
sweet.
This one was a little older. It was in to be honest, it was better about a year ago. It's starting to fall off, but it's still got a lot of cool character, and I thought it would be something that would be interesting to show the honey character.
Yeah, you get a little bit of that funk on the nose up front, but then like the back of the nose, the end is
very honey.
100% honey. Like you just like pounded a handful of honey into your nostrils.
And it is a lot drier than you expect from the smell.
Good. because it
God,
does.
It smells.
It's
very,
got like tart and sweet
deep.
smell.
Yeah.
Like,
And so if anyone's ever heard of buckwheat honey, it's got a lot
Buckwheat
of that
honey's
same,
good.
It's got that same character as buckwheat, where it's got that that little
Oh my God, that's
savory kind of characters, even though it's honey and it's got a little,
So
that slight
we're
sweetness.
talking about the similar one that I have from a commercial meadery at home. Yours blows it out of the water.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And like I said, this was another one that has so many metals on it.
Yeah.
But again, it's hit that peak and it's starting to come
Yeah.
the other way. It's not bad in any way.
It's
just
really mild though.
it's past it's past its absolute prime.
I get a lot more honey aroma than I do taste.
And
I still get a little honey taste though.
and it is a lot drier than you would expect, right?
So I'll have to. My first mead, I still have 1 or 2 bottles of it, and it's well past like the 5-year prime aging. And I'm very curious, having done more of these shows, to break that open and see what's changed, and if I even remember what it tasted like in the beginning. Actually, come to think of it, I have a 6.5 gallon carboy full of mead that's like 4 years old now. I haven't bottled yet.
I like the smell more than I do the taste.
Yeah, I agree. The smell is very robust. It's got a like I said, that kind of like not quite tart, but just
It smells like it's gonna be a lot heavier than it is, but I like the lightness of
the
it.
body is also kind of deceiving to me too. Like initially, like when I sip it, like it almost feels like it's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
And then as it dissipates across the palate, like it becomes thin. So it's nice because you take that first sip, you get a lot more of the honey aroma with that sip, and so
Yeah.
the kind of heaviness, I feel like, makes it feel like, oh, I'm drinking honey. And then like the flavor
But that
changes.
could be some of it because it's past the point, the peak.
Yeah. Yeah, and again,
Where it
it
fell
was
off.
it's falling off, like I said, but it this is also 15%, so you're gonna have a lot of that heat. In the
Doesn't even
background.
taste like 50.
No.
Yeah,
No,
so
but
it's like just
I can
shy
taste the
under. It's
booze.
like
Yeah.
14.8.
When I hear a lot of the old like Viking stories of drinking mead in the halls, I imagine they're drinking something like this, because I could drink a lot of this one.
Yeah,
This is fantastic.
I definitely would drink another one. If I had ordered a glass of this, I wouldn't send it back.
Oh God, no. I mean, not that I would send really
This
anything
one,
back.
this one compared to the fire mead,
Yeah, compared to the other meads that you've had, definitely, like, yeah, those are insane. This is also still really good,
it's
though.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I said, this one is older and a little past its prime, so I will give it that. I'm only down to like 4 or 5 bottles of this left, so that's why I was like,
Well, if it's
might as
past
well.
its prime and you just want to move it, I will be glad to make the drive and help you take care of that.
Merry Christmas.
Try that more often.
Johnny
thank
getting
you, sir.
bottles.
So this next one,
The artwork is fantastic.
We know.
so this is Lost Cause out of San Diego. There and Billy's making some of the best meads in the country at the moment, and so funny story is they don't really distribute to Michigan, but my wife made a friend with their taproom manager at a festival. And she's like, "Oh, if you want to order anything, just order it and let me know. I'll pull it, and then I'll just ship it off on the side, kind of thing, right?"
Awesome.
So they did that, and we ended up with a cellar like wall in their place because they just couldn't keep up.
Sounds like a
That's
good
awesome.
problem to have.
So she ended up at the last Sugar Belt Mead Festival in Indiana. We couldn't actually make it because we were in Laos, but our friend went and picked him up and ended up getting like 3 cases of freaking mead from her.
And these
That's
are small
awesome.
bottles, so you can fit a lot in a case. Like they're the thin, tall
And
bottle.
so I was like, you know what? I just got a crap ton of these things. I
Nice.
just literally just put my hand in the box, pulled out one. I'm like, that sounds great. And threw it in
Nice.
the cooler. So the one we ended up getting is based around a Mounds bar. So it's
I'm
coconut,
excited. I love those
cacao,
things.
and vanilla, I think.
Yep, caramelized
Oh, I'm
honey,
excited.
toasted coconut, cacao nibs, and vanilla, aged on American oak. And see, this one is the honey variety is avocado blossom honey. It's interesting. And they have the label artist here too. The person who did this is was it James Carvey Art? Yeah. James
That's pretty cool art, though.
Carvey Art. Yeah, it's that's his Insta handle. So James Carvey You
have those glasses still?
There's condensation on the bottle. It's difficult to read.
Condensation.
Condensation.
It's a funny word.
So, our lost cause. We believe in reckless pursuit of life's lost causes and celebrate those crazy souls who, like us, are willing to trade their cow for a handful of magic beans. Cheers, Schlancha, Skål.
Ooh, nice.
And Daryl, you can use your fancy wine opener and open the wine
bottle?
on this one. Yeah, since you know how to use this. This looks like something you would buy on Daryl'sDildos.com.
We haven't plugged that website yet.
Well, it hasn't plugged you yet until you
Anything's a
order from
dildo if you try hard
Daryl'sDildo.com. Page, no.
Well, now
Wait, hold on. Get the cork pop. Gosh dang it.
I'm going to spill this now.
Please don't. Do you want me to hold it?
All right, you got to get it started.
Well, it's not carbonated, right? So, like, what? I don't know what you're expecting.
It'll still pop. There we go.
The shape of this bottle, I feel like you could find this on Daryl'sDildos.com. That's Daryl'sDildos.com. DARREL. Is it 2 L's?
Yep.
2 L's.
Yep.
Dildos.com. Ooh, that smells really nice. I won't spoil the smell for everyone. I don't want to.
Oh, that's dark color, too.
I don't want to anchor.
is
So
darker than I was expecting.
it's a bochet, so it's caramelized honey, which means that they take the honey and heat it and caramelize it, so it gets darker and darker and darker.
Which is a very delicate process.
Yes.
As someone who's made honey candy before, like it does not cook like sugar.
Oh,
And it rises real quick, and it'll make a
Yes, it
mess
do.
real quick.
Yes, it do.
we did a little bit of that in the that Iron Brewer beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I always
wanna
have,
crack into
I have
that
an
thing.
abundance of honey. So like I've pretty much anything you can do with honey, I've done.
I have my basement is filled with honey of all types.
I'm a beekeeper, so like
even
it's
better.
I've
Then
unlimited
You
honey.
might be my best friend.
I might be.
He doesn't have enough honey, sorry.
Yeah. it's-
My God.
well, we've got a 55-gallon barrel full of it, so
So this
I've got a little
smells
bit.
like chocolate.
Taste
Oh,
it.
it's so
Just taste it.
chocolatey.
There's a lot of sugar in this, though.
See, I got
Holy hell.
more like chocolate and vanilla smelling the bottle like out of the neck. Like in the glass, I don't get as much chocolate aroma or vanilla aroma.
I just smell chocolate. That's all I smell. Just chocolate.
A little bit.
I'm closing my eyes to savor this one. This one's holy hell.
Well, that is desserty.
That is
it's
absolutely
really
desserty. It really tastes like caramelized honey that somebody threw
Oh,
like
yeah.
a Samoa cookie in.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
This would be like a dessert, like in a little snifter, just a little
It's
bit.
not that it's bad, but I don't like it.
It's sweet.
It's
yeah.
way sweet.
The
Really sweet.
the aftertaste is 1,000% butterscotch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like this tastes like I just had a Werther's original in my mouth. Everything about this is good. I agree with Daryl's critique.
It's
It is
good.
hella sweet.
Yeah.
And that's the amount that I ever want.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at the lacing on the glass. Like
yeah.
it sticks to this glass like it is pure honey.
Like, I like
that,
I like
though.
sweet meads, but they need to be balanced, and I find that this isn't balanced.
Yes, I agree with that.
I don't think that that's what they were going for. Based on the description, I feel like they're like, we want this to be a fucking candy.
If you let it roll in the mouth for a little bit, you do get some of the coconut out of it.
And it's very chocolatey.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like chocolate milk. Chocolate.
Yeah, after several sips, I get the Mounds bar. Like it's you just 100% Mounds
Yeah.
bar. Wow, it's hitting all the marks. Like they did not fuck this up.
No, I think if they dial the sugar back a little bit, I think it'd be a lot better. And I wonder if that would contribute to it being
You know what
thinner.
this would be good on? This would be good poured over fucking ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
So, meads have developed this regional thing, and the Midwest of the United States has taken on a new style of meads that they call the Midwest in the mead world the sugar belt. Right? And it's because all meads brewed in this area tend to be sugar bombs. They're just sugary, fruity, craziness. It's not my favorite thing, but it is tends to be this region, and they advertise themselves as being a sugar belt meadery.
So if you're a dentist, you know where to move to.
And in fact, the largest mead festival in the country is the Sugar Belt Mead Festival in Indiana. Mm-hmm. And so they're...
When is that normally?
That's in beginning of June. Yeah,
because I go to Indiana for Dark Lord Day every year.
It is the same day as Dark Lord.
Oh, fuck! Well, wait, I can do both.
It's in Crown Point, so it's actually not very far.
If I skip the music, which will break my heart, to go to the Mead Festival, fuck me up, fam.
Well, if you get lit and just play some metal on your phone while you're on the way there, it's kind of the same thing.
I was listening to Spirit World on the way here, and that's who we saw at Dark Lord Day. So
Muncie and Crown Point are like 25 minutes away.
Oh, fuck me up. We're going next year. Next year, we're going to do Dark Lord Day in the morning, do some bottle sharing, get our allotments, and then we're going to the fucking Mead Festival, boys.
I'm in.
It again, you get mead mouth. Like, you literally feel like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, well, see,
just like honey coming out of your mouth. You're like, mwah. And they
feel the same way.
They have only one beer in the entire festival, and it's PBR.
Fuck yeah. I'm in.
And
that's my beer.
It is literally there because people are just like, oh man, I need a beer.
To wash it down.
And literally, my beer of choice would be a PBR.
And people
no
are
idea
just
how
like,
happy you just
this
made
is the greatest PBR that's ever existed.
Every PBR is the greatest PBR.
I could totally see that comparison too, going from a ton of this to that. Yep. I could see that being, oh my god.
Well, I have the same feeling about Dark Lord Day. Is like when we're there, like if you're drinking Dark Lord and you're drinking like the variants and the bottle shares and everything, everyone's bringing dessert stouts, imperial stouts, and occasionally you'll get someone's like, oh, I got this, kettle sour from Florida or whatever, and it changes it up. But like this year specifically, I brought in my backpack, I brought 6 Kolsch's because I was like, we're going to be drinking nothing but fucking imperial stouts and we need something to like cleanse. And so I had ice packs in my backpack and a bunch of this like local Indiana Kolsch. Nice. And that was like a lifesaver. After like 10 different imperial stouts, you're like, I feel like I've been chewing on hay and sugar cubes. I'm like a fucking horse.
So if you warm that up in your hand a little bit, it changes that mouthfeel a little bit, and it really kind of mellows a lot out. And I'm out to further describe and prove the point. But warmed up a little bit, it seems to balance everything out a little bit more.
And meads aren't really meant to be served all that cold.
No.
They were invented well before refrigeration.
Oh, yeah. I like them
cellar
cold.
Temperature at best.
And this may be blasphemous, and feel free to throw at me whatever you want, but I have put some ice cubes in a glass of mead before and enjoyed that.
You fucking heathen.
It's good, though.
Get out.
You know what? Guess what? Your place in Valhalla? Rejected. Ouch. Honestly, like...
That's all right. I'm Catholic anyways. I'm not going to Valhalla.
I go back to Daryl's critique that it is sweet, but honestly, like, if you are looking for something like dessert, the flavor is incredibly clean.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Like, with his...
it's not bad at all. People love it.
Oh, yeah. It's sticky sweet. If you want candy... This is it. Like,
oh, yeah.
This
but
is
I'm more salty than sweet, so...
Yes, you are. Honestly, this is probably the best, I would say, like... I'm trying to describe it. It's not... I wouldn't say it is like a standard mead. It's like a dessert mead, like a candy mead. Like, they've added things to it.
Yeah,
it's not just sugar, or I'm sorry, honey, water, and yeast,
This is the
adjunct mead.
The pastry stouts of
yes.
meads.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Like
This
if you
is
like
more
ice
adjunct than mead.
If you like ice wines or particularly pastry stouts or dessert stouts, like this would be the mead you would want to start with.
I'm actually having a hard time finishing this now.
I'm not.
It's so sweet.
I'll step up as always.
And again, I'm not typically a sweet guy. Like this.
To cut that, I'm going to give you guys a sour.
This one's sugar free. This drink I'm drinking sugar free because I don't do. That sounded awesome.
Here, you want to pour it in here or that?
Do you want to hit me with a little bit of that water, Dale? I want to rinse out all this sweetness before I get
drink
sour.
out of this. You
I
don't care,
give
do
a shit.
You got my spit.
We were Daryl and I were kissing earlier, so it's
Outside,
fine.
yep.
Yeah, we go outside.
I got to get some action somewhere. We're married. Shit.
brother.
This is not normally part of the show. I don't know what's happened now.
It's part of the show now. It's finally time we admit it. It's Pride Month, isn't it? You know.
Love and marriage.
Love and go together like a horse and carriage. This I tell
So
you.
before we get caught into copyright, let's do a commercial break and we'll come back. Keith.
Here's to you, Mr. Jeff the Beer Donator. While others bring chips and dip, you bring the ultimate liquid gold. You're the hero we never knew we needed, turning ordinary podcasting into extraordinary brewcasting. Each time you crack open a cold one, the podcast world gets a little brighter, a little funnier, and a lot more buzzed. Because of you, high-gravity listeners aren't just hearing content, they're cheering to it. Cheers to you, Mr. Jeff the Beer Donator, for making every episode a toast-worthy event. This one's for you.
You can't have one without the other. Welcome back from commercial break, everyone. I didn't stop singing the whole time.
It got weird. I ain't gonna lie, it got weird.
So now we have a sour. Oh, you've already poured. So
I poured it myself, yeah. But so this one is, if you've ever been to New Glarus Brewery, they only distribute.
Oh,
in,
that's
I have been to New Glarus.
They only distribute in Wisconsin, and this is a one of their. They do special releases weekly or daily or something like that. But you only buy bottles at their one brewery, and then they're gone basically. So this is a foeder ale, and if you don't know what a foeder is, it's basically a giant oak barrel that they sour things and ferment in. There is a description if you want to read the description.
Oh, I'm definitely going to. It looks like it's almost like all handwritten, and everything that's not handwritten is
old
in this
English.
this old English script that's impossible to fucking read. It's New Glarus Brewing Company. Style, vintage 21. Brewed 2014 and 16. So I'm imagining this is a blend.
Probably.
Okay. Bottled September 21st. IBUs 24. I was like, wait a minute, 241. I'm like, that's not possible. You can't isomerize that much. 24 IBUs. Batch 106.6.1, or that might be 106.b.l. I don't know. It's handwritten.
Shouldn't you be reading this in like an English accent?
Shut up. I could. You want me to?
Kinda, yeah.
OG 12.2. ABV 6.1% there, bruv.
That's Australian.
Oi, shut up, cunt. That's Australian.
Yeah.
I'm not reading it upside down.
Australians are just the rednecks of England. Remember that.
Let's see the Brewer Master's notes. All right, and let me see if the label's a little. There we go. Dan's annual brewing of American Sour Ale embraces traditional brewing methods, aged whole cone hops, raw wheat, cool ship aged in oak foeders. Foeders. Blended and fermented to enjoy now or age. The or and the age, like, because it's handwritten, look like they were pressed together. So I'm like, they misspelled orange. There's no N. Enjoy now or enjoy now orange. Makes sense.
Oh, they're English. So.
Brewed and bottled, New Glarus Brewing Company. Yeah, whatever. It definitely smells like a sour.
My sister's old college roommate I talked about came from Wisconsin.
Nice and bubbly.
Hey, we have an audience member.
It's nice and bubbly. I'm sorry, you don't want a lot.
I'm not a fan of sours.
She got me a
at all.
12-pack of it. Brought that. What's up, Mr. Mark? Brought me a 12-pack of that once. And it was...
Of what? Sorry, I missed
it was a combo pack of New Glarus beers.
Okay.
Hey, where you going with the beer?
Spotted cow.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, there were 4 different ones in there, and
Then
I
there's, like,
don't
the
remember a
nut
lot
brown
about
one.
them anymore, but they were good. I like them.
Yeah, I remember I kind of my first exposure to New Glarus was also the variety pack years and years ago, and I remember thinking like everyone loves this spotted cow, and I'm like, oh, this is good. Oh, I haven't tried to sip yet.
It definitely cuts through the.
Yeah, that bites in the back of your jaw.
Well, it'll be nice after that last.
Oh, it's
I thought
a
it would
change.
be something
Yeah.
to cut through that sweetness.
Oh, I like that
I love the carbonation.
Yeah,
I love the volume of this. I like when my sours are bubbly as fuck.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I think a lot of them do become that way because, even if you cold crash it and things like that, sometimes those little bacteria, they still survive. And as it bottle conditions, it just gets bubblier and bubblier. And that's probably part of the reason the sours get better with age, a lot of them, because they continue to break down more complex cellulose chains and shit and like turn into carbonation and alcohol. And
I'm okay with that.
So, a funny story about that. So traditionally, lambics can be served still as well as carbonated, right?
I don't think I would like that still.
But traditionally they were done, right?
Yeah.
So you can actually serve them still. And I was at the Ohio State Fair competition one time, and we have something that says a still lambic, and I'm like, okay, perfect, still lambic, that's fine. I go to open it, and it's actually a cork. I pull the cork, and we're in a warehouse with like 20-foot ceilings. And as I get the cork out, the cork shoots with the corkscrew still
Oh
connected.
my God.
Shoots, hits the ceiling, and the beer hits a 20-foot ceiling.
Oh my God.
And
you're lucky the bottle
everywhere.
didn't explode.
Yeah.
Right? And we're like, what the fuck was that? And we're like, okay, we look at the bottle. There's nothing in the bottle.
A bummer.
Instantly turned into foam.
So I'm interested. So I had them bring the other bottle. But we get a bucket. And we know better now. So we're like, okay. And someone's got like like there's people around and they got like a little stopper. And so like we hear the poof, and it starts like squirting out and immediately put that on there. And they're like, okay, psst, no, not yet. Psst, no, not yet. Psst, no, not
Carbonated an entire bucket.
It's like the root beer bottles.
yet. And so then someone they said, okay, we're gonna get a pitcher. So they sanitize the pitcher, and then we immediately spray it into a pitcher, and it's all foam. So we're like, okay, we're gonna let that sit for 20 minutes, and then we'll come
Yeah,
back.
it's supposed to be still anyway, right? Doesn't matter if the bubbles you run out of it.
So eventually it turns into beer. And it was a wonderful...
Probably still by that time, I imagine.
No, it was...
Still
it was champagne level carbonated.
Wow.
So I have a feeling this guy is like, I'm bottle conditioned. Oh, I tried one. Oh, shit, it's not carbonated. I'm going to add more sugar. And then they recork everything, and then they go recork it, taste it, like before they send to competition. Oh, it's still freaking that carbonated. Okay, I'm just going to call it still. And then send it out. And
You are wrong.
boom, right? So we judged it, and it was a fantastic lambic. But it wasn't still. And so we had to like, I am wearing this, so I am not giving you a good score.
It's a shame, especially because if it's good and it's just like, well, it didn't meet the style guidelines. Like, it's good, but you did not meet the style guidelines.
We were talking from last week to this week about a buddy of mine that got into home brewing, and he didn't understand the concept of styles. And he thought he brewed it, whatever he calls it is what it is. And he had this one that he made that he called a pumpkin. I'm like, this isn't a pumpkin, dude. This, as a spice beer, you nailed it. As a pumpkin beer, this tastes like dog shit. And I could never get him to understand that, there are categories and classifications of it that make it what it is.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's not what you call it.
If you're going to describe it to someone who knows better, then that matters. But like in my experience, like home brewing, like if you're just doing it to drink it, you just do what you enjoy. And I think that's a lot of that.
To his credit, that's a lot of what he and the
a lot of that American ingenuity we talked about earlier. I think that's what's led to kind of the brewing revolution is ignoring the styles to a certain extent. Like we're gonna call this an American lager, and it's a black lager, but who fucking cares if
they
it's good?
They kind of did that, and the guy was brewing in his garage, and not the best
As
conditions.
We do.
Well, if you brew, you clean and sanitize things and run them properly. He did things not quite right.
Mostly my fermenter is cleaned properly.
Yeah,
if there's a little bit of mung, stuck to the side of the brew kettle, it's probably not going to make a difference.
I don't think these
Hot side versus cold side.
Yeah, you should clean it. But
I
if there's a
don't
little
think
bit,
these guys are brewing anymore. I'm pretty confident they're not. They did a few brews and that was it.
See, one of our favorite brews, every time we do a brew day, there'd be, anywhere from 3 to 7 of us brewing at a time. And we would always, at the end of the day, we'd all do our...
Please
like drink it. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I won't drink a lot because I know it'll upset my
good.
gut. But
It's got the fruity smell. I can't drink that.
Yeah.
You don't like sours, right?
Nope. And that is
I enjoy that.
definitely straight sour.
That is definitely a
It's
sour.
a refreshing sour, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when we do brew days, like, some of our favorite was like at the end of the brew day, we do kind of like that table beer where we would just take all of our like spent grains that we already brewed and we do
final
like,
wash?
we would do one mixed batch of like all the random shit. And if the gravity came in a little bit low, we'd throw in a little bit of extract or something like that. And whatever hops we had laying around, like all of us grow hops. So it's like we have freezers full of fucking hops.
I had a buddy of mine that did that for a while. I don't know if he still does.
And that would be that. Then we'd keg it up at whoever's house we're at. Whoever's house we're brewing at, they would get that table beer.
Yeah.
And then like next time we brew there, we would drink the table beer,
Nice.
or that would be like the kind of like, hey, this is the beer that was just basically for free, so let's enjoy it. And 9 times out of 10, it always came out super good. It was always just kind of generic ale. Because if someone's brewing a stout and you're brewing, a Belgian IPA, and the other dude's doing, some kind of like, Pilsner or whatever, doesn't matter. Mix all the grains together, all good.
Yeah.
But, like those kegs of beer, they are finite in time, and they are now gone. Much like our time for this episode. It was great drinking with y'all, so we'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely. And again, thank you, Mr. Bill, for joining us. Very greatly appreciated.
Legendary
Thank
Bill.
you so much for sharing some of these fantastic beers. And definitely love and hope to have you back, if you're up for it, to have you back one of
Anytime.
these days.
We'll have you back on the next episode. Hey.
If you didn't learn anything today, at least remember this. Beer is the answer that makes everything better.
Can't remember the question, but who cares when you have a cold one in your hand?
Remember, everybody, drink responsibly, drink high gravity.
Most importantly, drink well.
Okay, not the well. Life's too short for bad beers.
Stay frosty, my friends.